and thank you for having me here today. I'm going to speak a little bit more about how is it in reality. My role is to press a button to start with. There I am. I've been working in the leasing business for 20 years, and you can understand that a lot of things have changed. Everything from how we used to show a drawing to having viewings, meeting the client, and piles of papers on our desks. Tech is something everybody's talking about, and when you ask them what is prop tech, you get so many different answers. Because prop tech can be so much, and some of you have mentioned a lot of things today already, which is the problem maybe for why we are not more advanced in the prop tech sector than we are, due to that people don't really understand what is in the word prop tech. I have just this slide. It's a few headlines which I thought I'd work around. Prop tech, the big changes is the co-working business, of course. Co-working, the technical programs and the apps that we have made it more possible for us to work differently, lease different kind of spaces, and make it more usable for our tenants. Now, Adam, who spoke here earlier, he mentioned basically all the things that is so essential today to be able to meet the new tenants, their requirements, and to also be a successful landlord in leasing out your spaces. Some of these techniques that have been developed gives us the opportunity of monitoring how the people move around in their offices. We have what's used today are the bleeps you check in and check out and you get your paper, and in many ways a lot of this technique is also making it more a sustainable way of working. A lot of it also is cutting costs, making it more workable between your everyday life and also work life. But to be very honest, I'm so full of enthusiasm after this morning, because you guys who've been talking here before have mentioned so many amazing platforms and techniques that you're developing, which sound fantastic. But then we have a way to go yet to implement this in reality, which you are, but also more in an everyday leasing performance. So I'll tell you how the role as advisory has changed. We have more, of course, have more techniques when we have viewings. We don't anymore have these old drawings. We have 3D viewings. We can easily show a tenant how this building is going to look. We can offer virtual reality viewings, so you don't actually need to have people come over from the UK, for example, to look at their new office. We at Savills, we in England have we launched a platform called Work There in 2017, and that is to be able to collect all the co-working companies on one platform and offer the tenants. My role often is to be an advisor towards a landlord, and I would say that we still have quite a way to go. Sweden is not the top when it comes to tech, as we saw earlier. I think it was you, Magnus, who showed that. But we are very modern in many other ways, especially on the residential side, but it seems on the commercial side it has been slightly slower. We have we have worked for many years with Dacia, for example, which is a great platform for many things. I'm sure most of you know of Dacia, where you have all sort of information, and it's developing ongoingly. But now, for the first time in a very long time, we're actually getting a new platform for where you can show your premises, monitoring more data. It's we are proud to be one of the first consultancies helping out in this company to develop their program and platform. We also see the necessity of definitely getting more efficient. We want to be out there. We might not be quite as hyped as working with like VTS that you've been talking about and the Guyana, but it's all very interesting programs, and I'm definitely going to talk with my colleagues in the UK, who probably some of them are already working with it, but we should look into it even in the Swedish market. We are actually building our own platform in Gothenburg, where we are trying to collect a lot of data, and so as to optimize the vacancy rates and the needs of the tenants. I'm sure that we are still a little bit stuck, not generally maybe we Savills, but in general with landlords, it's still a lot of reporting in Excel and stuff like that, and I'm the first one to be delighted to try and go a few steps ahead. The challenge or the demands are changing, of course, and it's like we've mentioned it earlier, it's not new for today, but it is that the tenants want to have flexible leases and the landlords would like to be flexible, but they have their economy to think of and, you know, to get back the investments. So we are trying to, from our advisory role, try and really help them to see and understand the long-term winning in it. And I think one has to look at all this already in a construction point of view. I still think that the commercial real estate business is slightly conservative. Now, I have a problem because I can't see from far with these, but Timo, who sat here earlier, he mentioned that there is a gap, and there definitely is a gap. What's happening is that the technique is advancing so quickly, and there are so many good programs to use, but we still are a generation who have, the young ones are really hooking onto it quick. The other ones are really trying to hook up as quick as possible, but this means that we as advisories need to be on top of it all the time. We are constantly running at things like this. We're trying to study more to really to be able to offer both our landlords and our tenants an easy way to access vacancies and get whatever they need in their specific rental space. And we also understand that many companies today, to attract the best tenants, they need to have a branded and a really good property, which has been mentioned earlier. Looking ahead is that I think like teams that I am in, where we work a lot with logistics, retail, a lot of the programs are going to be helpful to look into that. But we need to probably look at another type of recruitment, or not probably, we are. We need to have more technical people who understand the technique together with the sales. It's essential nowadays because everything is changing very fast. We are not changing with it quite as fast, but we would like to be much more quicker on it. A lot about all this is the technique is there and it is very good, but I think it's an understanding. A lot of people who are not into it on a daily basis don't really understand what is there to get, like I've learned so much today. But then you can imagine the clients who are dealing with something totally different, and they might not all be millennials, but they will be still very keen on adding on and hooking up onto new techniques. So what I'm trying to say is that I think there needs we need to have a more user-friendly way of marketing all the new technique. We need to make it easier for everybody to understand and simplify it in the way we talk about it, like we talk about AI, and like someone said, maybe let's just talk about smart things, smart using. It will be more understanding. And I think also in the long run, the landlords who will be quick at taking up in all this and really understanding what the market what the clients want, will be the ones having the winners in the long run and leasing out their spaces quicker. There is, of course, a challenge in the local market here in Sweden. We have a lot of old buildings which have been refurbished and are being refurbished. As you see, there is a massive construction going on. The new buildings have, I'm sure, all the new things, and I know they have all the new things that the clients require. And but of course, in cities like ourselves, where we have very strict regulations in what we are allowed to do and not to do, we need to take in consideration that and as well implement the new technique. It's a very exciting period. I mean, I've done this for 20 years. I think it's absolutely amazing what's happening now. It's so exciting. And there's so much to be done. And now I feel that there is even more to be done after this morning and listening to all of you. So I just hope that coming ahead, that I'm not going to be replaced by a AI doll, you know. Yeah, thank you.